I am going live on my Facebook and on my Instagram. And so I'm just going to see how this works. So hello Instagram, hello Facebook. Today I wanted to talk to you about something, and I have a question for you. My question for you is, are you an innie or an outie? Now you might be thinking that's kind of personal, right? You're like, that's a little bit personal, right? Are you an innie or are you an outie? And I'm not talking about the innie or the outie that you think I am. I'm talking about introvert versus extrovert. Introvert versus extrovert. And when I tell people that I'm an introvert, I get really odd responses like, no way, there's no way. And it's almost offensive because I own my introversion. It's like, I own it. I totally own it. And so I thought I would look up the definition of introvert. And so I Googled it. So the Google Calendar says, the Google Dictionary says, introvert, a shy person. Wrong. That is not what an introvert is. That's like an old, 1800 definition of introvert. And then it said, a person predominantly concerned with their own thoughts and feelings rather than with external things. Well, that's a little bit closer, but it sounds a little self-involved, doesn't it? Like concerned with their own inner thoughts and feelings rather than external things. So it's a little bit closer, but it's not entirely where we want to be. Yes, life with dogs. And it's really interesting because as I was looking for some information about introvert, I read that in 2010, the American Psychology Association wanted to categorize an introvert or an introversion as an emotional disorder. An emotional disorder, where does I see that? Clarify as an emotional disorder. So, I mean, that is just crazy. But I also read, and I didn't have a chance to look it up, it said most people are extroverts. Now, I don't know if that's true. I wanted to look up the statistics, and I think I will after this to see if there's any kind of actual statistics on that. But, so that's, so introverts, people don't really get them. They make them uncomfortable. They're like, they don't know how to respond to an introvert. And so I looked further on my definitions, and I looked at the Urban Dictionary. So that came up, the Urban Dictionary. So that's the really cool stuff. That's like that, we're so hip, we know what's going on. That's not like the old school, we're shy people type of dictionary. So it says, there's lots of definitions, but it says a person who is energized by spending time alone. They like to think and be alone. Not all are shy. Some have a very great social life. They love talking, they have friends, but they just need time to be alone to recharge afterwards. And that is the definition of introvert that I embrace, because I draw my energy from my alone time. So extroverts, and since you all are extroverts, right? Since most people are extroverts, you all know what that looks like and feels like. You just love to be around people. You get lots of energy when you're out and about. An introvert, it's not that I don't like people. It's not that I don't like to socialize. It's just that it drains me. It drains me of energy. So if you just joined, we're talking about whether or not you're an innie or an outie. And by that we mean introvert or extrovert. And in case you haven't determined yet, I am an introvert. And you're like, okay, you're not an introvert because you're on Facebook Live right now and on Instagram Live and you're talking to people. And so introverts just don't do that because they're shy. Okay, go back to the 1880s definition of introvert and maybe you're right. But today, what we understand about introverts is that it's not about being shy. Now, when I was in grade school, I can remember being in kindergarten, first grade, I probably was categorized as shy. And if certain things in my life hadn't happened, I probably would have maybe lived in that categorization longer. And the thing about being shy is, don't own your shyness, because shy is something that you can hide behind. right? And shy is something that people are like, I mean, if you're an adult and you're shy and you're like, so like this, and I don't know what to talk about. And I mean, that makes people uncomfortable. So don't embrace the shy, right? Shyness is something that, again, that you can develop skills to offset that. But again, when I was in grade school, I might have been categorized as shy, but my parents were really great about helping me discover other passions that I had. So, in class, I may not have looked like the girl that would be comfortable coming up in front of the class and speaking. I may not have looked like the little girl that would have wanted to take dance classes and be on a recital in front of, an auditorium full of people. I may not have looked like the girl that was going to grow up to be an NFL cheerleader and perform in stadiums for tens of thousands of people. Public speaking is like, we all know that statistic. It's feared more than death. It's like more people fear public speaking than death. I don't mind public speaking. Give me a stage. I'll get up. Now, I want to be prepared. Yeah, I get nervous, but I'll speak in public. I do. I've done trainings. I've done speeches. I've done presentations. It's totally my jam. So but still, I'm an introvert because I can get all excited for that. I can get all geared up for that, but I can tell you when I'm done, I'm like, whew. I'm not the one that wants to go out in the crowd and like, hey, that was awesome, wasn't it? I'm like, yeah, that was great. Okay, I need to go take a nap. I need to go to my room and chill out. And then I'll come back. And let's talk and thank you. I did a great job. Thank you so much. Deborah, I wish I could. Yeah. And so I also kind of like being in the spotlight. I don't mind being in the limelight. Like my husband, he's like totally like, he's fine if he's not on Facebook Live, and I do sometimes bring him into my Facebook Lives and, he doesn't need to be in every single picture. I'm just like, picture. But I like it. I like that. But yet I am still an introvert. And so, let's see, what else? I wrote down some notes. The funny thing, I was reading an article in Huffington Post. They said, can you spot an introvert? And sometimes they are very hard to spot because, again, that's me. If you were to see me out and about, if you were to see me at a social engagement, if you were to see me speaking on stage, you would never know. I would not, because I can pass as a very social person. But here's something that you need to know about introverts. So I was going to write these down, but there's a really long list of stuff. But here's how, some characteristics of an introvert and because maybe you don't know if you're an introvert because, maybe you do enjoy a lot of, maybe people-oriented things, but you wonder why, like, why am I so tired after all that? Well, you could be an introvert. So here's number one. If you find small talk terribly cumbersome, I'm not a chit-chatter. I'm not a small talker. It's awkward, and I can do it. If I go, and I've learned, so these are things I've learned. When I go to a social situation, I've taken the Dale Carnegie courses. I have learned how to be curious of people, not how to be, but how to manifest that and ask questions and be engaging. I have learned how to do that, but I'm telling you, it drains me. It's like, if you take me to like a cocktail party or, I do a lot of social things with Beachbody and, we have events and leadership events and there's always, social engagements. And I'm telling you, I dread them. I dread them not because I don't enjoy them. I dread them not because I don't want to be there. I just dread them because it's hard. It's just hard. It's hard. And I don't feel, inside I feel very like I don't shine. So as an introvert, being someone who is more introspective, I think, I think more, I'm not just going to babble on, although some of you may disagree with that. When I go to social engagements, if there's big personalities there, I'm like a shrinking violet. I become a shrinking violet. And so these are things that I know about myself, and I have to kind of, train myself not to do that. you go to parties. Introverts go to parties, but not to meet people. Well, and what that means, what it was saying is that when you go to a party, you're probably going to kind of attach to the people that you already know. And that's so true. I mean, again, I think about some of these events that I go to with my business, and I'll go and, we're all in the same company and we all know each other on social media, but I'm telling you, it's like this sea of people. And I just like feel like I'm withdrawing into myself. And then I'll find a couple of people that I know or that I'm more friendly, that I know better, and I'll go up and I will literally probably spend the rest of the evening with those people and maybe even the rest of the weekend, socializing with them. You often feel alone in a crowd. That's another trait of an extrovert, and that is exactly true. Again, at an event like that, I can feel as alone as I've ever felt when I'm in a crowd of people. I can be out, and this used to happen, like when I go out with larger groups of people, like friends or acquaintances, to dinner or to whatever, I can feel as alone as I've ever felt when I'm there with those people, just because the conversation gets really loud and lively and everybody's talking, and I'm just like, and you try to talk and people are talking over you, and it's like, eventually I'm just like, okay, I withdraw. It's like, okay, I'm not going to fight to speak. I'm not going to raise my voice even louder to try to speak louder than the person next to me. It just drains me. Let's see, that when networking makes you feel like a phony, and that goes to the small talk. It's not really, I don't really feel that way about that. Let's see. An interesting thing is it says you can be easily distracted. And I thought that was very interesting because I typically think of extroverts as the ones being all over the place, like, woo, squirrel, squirrel. But, because we are, we work better alone and we work better like in a quiet environment, what it's saying is that, distractions really do play a big part. And I find that with myself, like even working at home, like I get distracted, oh, the dog's barking. Oh, let's go play with the dogs. Oh, the mailman. Oh, let's go out and see the mailman, or, just stuff like that. So I do find that I get distracted. Downtime doesn't feel unproductive to you. And downtime, see, I'm not super great with downtime. I feel like, but I do like it. So for instance, I need it. Like today, like this is how I work in my day. Like when I'm working in my house, in my home office, I'll get up, I'll work out, I'll, have my meal, I'll do some work on my phone, go clean up, take my shower, and do a little bit more work. And then I have to go and just, I sit in my chair, I might watch a little TV, I might, get back on my phone, play some games or read a book, listen to some podcasts or something. Because even just the act of, like, I do a lot of social interaction here on social media, right? That gets, it's, my brain gets tired. I love it. But, talking to people and all that, it is tiring. So I'll go and take a break. And then I'll come back and I'll work some more and I'll do some more stuff. And then I'll go and I'll do that again. Like I'll go take my break, go recharge, empty my brain, let it just chill out, etc. So downtime is a part of my day. And when I don't have the downtime, like when I go on these trips, like these social trips, seriously, I mean, we're go, go, go. We have events and parties and meetings, and I'm around people all the time, and they're my colleagues. And I'm telling you, I'm like, okay, I'm done. Introverts have a done factor. We have a done factor. It's like, I'm done. I cannot even anymore. And that's when I have to go to, like, seriously, I was like, okay, I can't even go to that next presentation. I have to go to my room right now. This is like when I'm traveling, and I have to lay down and I have to be by myself. And my husband even, he'll go, like, if he's with me, he'll either stay at the meeting or whatever, or he'll, like, well, I'm going to go take a walk around the hotel. I'm going to go do this or do that, and leave me alone so that I can have that recharge time. Giving a talk in front of 500 people is less stressful than having to mingle with those people afterwards. I already said that. See, it's right here, and having to pose. It's like, yes, I already knew that. I would rather get up on stage and speak to 500 people than, then afterwards go and have that social situation with them. You shut down if you've been active for too long. And that's what I said. I have that done factor. It's like, I'm totally done. And when I tell my husband I'm done, I mean, I try not to be, I don't mean that in a, like, okay, I'm ready to go, so everything else needs to stop. No, it's like when I say I'm done, like, honey, I'm done. I mean, it's a serious, like, I'm done. Like, like, I can't even anymore. One of the things it says about introverts is that oftentimes we're in relationships with extroverts because opposites attract. And that's really interesting. I mean, my husband, he's definitely more of a people person. I mean, he's very engaging in social situations. I mean, he can talk to anybody, but yet he's not the one that wants to be in front of the camera, right? He would rather be behind the scenes and all that. So that's really, really interesting. But he's like my rock. I mean, when we're out and about, he's my rock. And a lot of times, I love the fact, like when he's with me at these social events and things like that, meetings, I do much better when I'm with him than when I'm totally by myself because, he's really great at conversation. Let's see, I'm trying to think of any of these other things that might be, we talked about calls, like you screen your calls. It's like, okay, me on the phone or the phone and I, we are not, the phone is for Facebook messaging and it's for texting. It's not for making phone calls. I will literally, to make an appointment with the doctor, I will put off my massage appointments. If I could do that online, I would, but I can't. Because when I make my massage appointment with Massage MB, they then call me to book the appointment. I'm like, I don't want to talk to you. If I wanted to talk to you, I would have called you in the first place. So, sometimes my mom and I, we go to get our massages together. I will like, Mom, can you make us a massage appointment? And she does. Mom, can you make us a mani-pedi appointment? And she does, because I don't want to talk on the phone. I do not want to call people. And, a lot of time, when I want to talk on the phone, it's when I want to talk, right? So, even if I get a phone call, like sometimes even from like friends or family, if it's coming at a time when I'm like, I just don't want to talk, I will not answer the phone. Or I might text them back and say, hey, did you need something? Spilling all my secrets here. But I will talk on the phone. And what happens is, like in my business, I do make phone calls. I do talk with some of my clients on the phone. And when I always get, I'm just telling you guys, if I've talked to you on the phone recently, I had to build up my energy to make that phone call. But then after the phone call, like literally this week, I was on the phone several times. I went up the stairs to my husband, like, wow, that was great. And I just feel so proud of myself. So I'm like, that was really great. I had all this kind of like energy, anxiety about it, and it was a great phone call. So that was really cool. So let's see. Introverts have low blood pressure. I thought that was really interesting. And I have really low blood pressure. You've been called an old soul. And I feel like that's kind of always been the way I've been. I've always really done better around older people. When I worked in high school, I worked in an office and I was around older people. I was around adult people. When I used to do my dance, I was I did community theater like when I was 16, and all of the people were in their 20s or 30s or 40s. And, I just really, felt more comfortable, I guess, because I'm an old soul, I guess. Let's see what else. I think that's it. You look at the big, I don't know. You've been told you need to come out of your shell. Many introverted children come to believe there's something wrong with them if they're naturally less outspoken and assertive than their peers. Introverted adults often say that as children they were told to come out of their shell or participate more in class. I've been told I need to come out of my shell, and like I said, it's really more in the social situation. In class I was fine. If I knew the answer, I would answer the question. But it's really more around the social situations. Like, you need to come out of your shell. Like I have some really great friends, and she had, like, one of my friends, she recently had a birthday, and she wanted to have a small birthday dinner with just a few of her friends, and they weren't ladies that I knew real well, but ladies I knew, and they were all really sweet, and I love, they're great, and we're friends, we're acquaintances, but she's like, and in the past I've not come to things like that because it just kind of overwhelms me. I'm like, I talk myself out of them. But I went and I had a really great time, and I had a really great, it's one of those things when I come home afterwards and I tell my husband, like, that was really fun. I really enjoyed that. And I even told my friend, I said, that was really, really fun. Because she knows that's hard for me. She knows it's hard for me. And, I'm like, that was really fun. Thanks for asking me. Thanks for continued asking me to be a part of, instead of just leaving me to my own devices all the time. So I think that's it. But so that is kind of the whole thing about being an innie or an outie. And I would love to have your thoughts about it. I can see on Insta. Hey, Insta. And let's look at the comments here on Facebook. See, I have to put my glasses on now so I can see you better. Yeah, Lynn says, all I want to do when I've been around a lot of people is sleep. That's exactly what I want to do. And so seriously, when I go to the Beachbody events, which is kind of, probably my biggest area of socializing these days, that's, what I do. That's, it's my business, it's my life. It's like my fun. My friends are there, my business colleagues. I really need to schedule sleep time because, sometimes I'm just done. I just have to do that. And then when I get home from those trips, like we're going on a trip with a Beachbody trip in April to Mexico, and it's going to be amazing. It's going to be a vacation, but we're going to be surrounded by fellow colleagues and coaches. And as fun as that's going to be, as much as I'm going to love seeing everybody, I'm serious. When I get home, I will probably spend the next week just in my house. I don't want any appointments. I don't want, no doctor's appointments, no meetings, things like that, because I just need to recharge that battery. Let's see what else. Anybody else have any comments? I've been on here a little bit, so I'm going to let you guys go, but I really appreciate your tuning in. I hope this was interesting, and I would really love to know if you are an extrovert, maybe you want to tell us things that maybe we don't know about extroverts, because introverts are very misunderstood, but maybe the extroverts are too. Maybe there are things that I, as an introvert, need to know about you that could help me have a better relationship with you. So thanks for tuning in, and I will talk to you guys later. Have a great evening.